Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video of the ChatGPT fictional conversations that I've been creating the past day. And this one is going to be an intellectual deliberation in dialogue form between Aldous Huxley and George Orwell on the fundamental authoritative powers, just in life, materiality, and spirituality. Given that both discuss this sense of impository authority. So here's what ChatGPT produces from such a prompt. Huxley, leaning forward. George, I've been pondering the nature of authority in our dystopian visions. In Brave New World, I explored a world where pleasure and distraction rule, where people willingly surrender their autonomy for a life of contented conformity. Orwell, nodding. Indeed, Aldous. In 1984, I took a different approach. The party's control is overt, brutal. Fear and force are their tools, suppressing any form of dissent. It's a warning against unchecked power. Huxley, leaning back. I couldn't agree more. Your portrayal of a society dominated by surveillance and censorship is chilling. But, George, I wonder if we're both touching on the same issue, the surrender of personal freedom. Orwell, furrowing his brow. Personal freedom. Yes, in my world, the individual is crushed under their boot of the party. But in yours, Aldous, people willingly take the soma, embrace their own servitude. Huxley, smiling. It's a subtle form of control, isn't it? The people in my world are too distracted by pleasure to question the system. They've traded intellectual and spiritual pursuits for instant gratification. Or, well, leaning forward. But isn't there a danger in that all this pleasure becomes a shackle, a distraction preventing them from recognizing the erosion of true freedom? Huxley, nodding. You're right, George. I wanted to explore the idea that a society can be controlled not just by fear, but by desire, by a willing submission to a shallow existence. But tell me, in your vision, what about spirituality? Orwell, pausing. Spirituality took a back seat in 1984. The party eliminated any higher truth or individual belief. It was a deliberate effort to control minds completely, to make loyalty to the party the only devotion. Huxley, thoughtful. In my world, spirituality is overshadowed by hedonism. The pursuit of deeper meaning is sacrificed for instant pleasures and distractions. It's a different kind of spiritual void. Orwell, leaning back. So, all this. Are we cautioning against different manifestation of the same threat? Your subtle surrender versus my brutal suppression? Huxley, smirking. Perhaps, George. But our dystopias warn against the dangers of sacrificing individual freedom, critical thinking, and spirituality in the face of authoritative powers, whether they be overt or insidiously subtle. Orwell, nodding. Agreed, Aldous. Our works may differ in approach, but the core message resonates. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance, regardless of the form authority takes. The room falls silent as the two literary giants contemplate the shared concerns that inspired their cautionary tales. Then there's a continuation. G.J. Ballard enters the scene, suddenly appearing in the room with a sly grin. Ah, gentlemen, I couldn't help but overhear your musings on authority, freedom, and the intricacies of societal control. Allow me to interject with a bit of wordplay on the elusive concept of true reason. What if reason is but a season, forever changing with the whims of our desires? Huxley chuckles. Ha 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 ha. GJ, always a provocateur. So reason as a season, you say? A perpetual cycle of rationality and irrationality. Ballard, nodding. Precisely all this. Reason, like the changing of seasons, may seem predictable, but it's ultimately a construct subject to the caprices of human nature. Orwell, raising an eyebrow. Are you suggesting that reason itself is a form of societal control? A tool manipulated by those in power? Ballard, smirking. Oh, George, you catch on quickly. Reason can be a facade, a veil concealing the true motivations of those who wield it. It's a dance of logic and illogic, a masquerade where the puppeteers pull the strings. Huxley, leaning in. So reason as a dance, a performative masking the underlying chaos. Are you implying that the pursuit of rationality is a mere illusion? Ballard, grinning. Illusion indeed. All this, the quest for true reason, may be an endless spiral, a labyrinth of intellectual pursuits leading nowhere. Perhaps the more we seek reason, the more it eludes us. Orwell, thoughtfully. If reason is but a mirage, what does that mean for the foundations of societal order? We've built our worlds on the premise of reason and logic. Ballard, musing. Ah, George, therein lies the irony. We construct elaborate systems based on reason, only to discover that reason itself is a construct, a fluid concept shaped by the ever-changing currents of human experience. Huxley, smirking. So, reason is a construct, a mirage, a dance? What implications does that have for our warnings about authority and control? Ballard, leaning back. It adds a layer of complexity, doesn't it? The very foundation we use to build our societies might be the most fragile of illusions. Perhaps, in the pursuit of reason, we inadvertently create the tools for our own subjugation. Orwell, reflecting. If reason is a tool, then the wielder determines its purpose. What happens when those in power manipulate reason to serve their own ends? What does happen indeed? Ballard, with a wicked smile. Ah, George, you're catching on to the heart of the matter. The manipulation of reason becomes the ultimate form of control, a dance where the puppeteers dictate the steps. Huxley, raising an eyebrow. A dance of reason, manipulated by those in power. Intriguing, JG. It adds a layer of nuance to our discussions on authority and the elusive nature of true freedom. The room falls silent once more as the three literary minds contemplate the intricacies of reason, authority, and the dance that shapes the very foundations of their dystopian imaginings.